welcome back. It's been a minute, and for those of you who are just tuning in, welcome. I'm Dr. Jenny from the block, and welcome to my channel. So the last video I posted was a month ago. I know, time had got away from me. I actually practiced what I preached, and I took 3 weeks, a little bit over 3 weeks off from just making and doing projects to go visit my friends and family. So I was on the West Coast for 2 weeks, and then I went down to the Midwest, or over and down. I was in Oklahoma, to the Midwest to see my family for a little over a week, which was much needed, and I'm feeling refreshed and ready to create and full of energy and excitement. So today's video, I wanted to talk briefly about my journey to becoming a psychologist. There have been a few of y'all in the comment sections and in the DMs on Instagram that have expressed interest in my journey, about how I got here, and yeah, I want to share that information. And as I was thinking, I believe I will drop a part 2 of this video, but it'll be more about the graduate school process. I realize that there are a lot of folks out there that are considering getting their master's or PhDs in different fields. And because of my, training and what I do currently for my job, I feel that I'm able to speak a little bit about the graduate school process and hopefully drop some gems for y'all as you figure out if that next step is right for you. So stay tuned for part 2, in which I will go into the graduate school process, because I think those videos are probably be really helpful for many of y'all. So, jumping on in. So first and foremost, I think in order to help me figure out what I wanted to do with myself professionally, I had to have a sit down with myself about what I valued and what I wanted. I think oftentimes folks don't sit down and really think about their personal values in terms of what they want in a workspace, what they want to create, how they want to feel about the work that they produce. And so midway, I'll say my sophomore year of college, I had to have this talk with myself. I had a different major. I wasn't a psych major from jump. I had a different major, and I was really struggling to connect with the material in my major. I felt very disinterested. I really wasn't into it. And for those who don't know, many of you, most of you, I was a biochem major at first, and I wanted to do forensic science. CSI was hot at the time. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But as I started taking the classes and whatnot, it just didn't align for me. It didn't give me a chance to really tap into some of the values that I have around helping people, around being of service, so doing community work, being helpful in those ways, really connecting to people emotionally. I think, growing up, I know that I went through my emotional phases and just experiences, and I don't feel like I had a lot of support at that time, and I wanted to be who I wish I had in terms of that emotional support growing up. So that list of values are not exhaustive. There's more, but I think I was looking for a job that could help me connect to others, help others, and be an asset to my community. So I realized that through the field of psychology, I could meet those values that I had, start to understand the answer to those questions a little bit better, and be helpful. There's so many ways in the mental health field that we can be helpful and contribute positively to our communities. So I switched majors, and the rest was history. And I applied, and I actually didn't do a master's program. So for those of you who don't know, there are PhD programs that will accept you without a master's. So I ended up getting to a PhD program that accepts bachelor level students. And so I was thrown into that program. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, that was the toughest 6 years of my life. So if you're considering, being a psychologist or doing your master's in counseling, you really need to think about your time commitment. How much time and potentially debt are you willing to get into to reach your goal? And for me, I wanted to get my PhD because I knew that as a Black woman navigating in society, that having a doctor in front of my name or the PhD after my name was going to open up more doors for me, and helpful, and sadly enough, give me more credibility as a competent clinician. And this is not to say those who are master's levels are not competent. It's not about that. I'm just learning through my experience. Just when somebody hears doctor, there's just the extra respect they sprinkle in your name. So I'm not also encouraging you to get the PhD just for that. I knew that I want to have systems level impact and create systems level change. And so I knew that one way that I felt like I could do that was like having the extra training, the research background, all that. So that's the one thing that the PhD can help you do, is to be able to work in academic settings, definitely teaching, all those type of things. And so I knew that that was a value of mine, being able to teach others. So that's one of the things I didn't talk about before. So when trying to make up your mind between the PhD and the master's, I think one, like I said, think about the time commitment. It took me 6 years, and even with a master's degree, it might have taken me maybe 5 versus the 6. So it'll take you about 6 years if you don't have a master's already. The master's programs are typically 2 to 3 years, and it's very fast paced. Like, I took the first couple of years of classes with the master's cohort, and we were just going at it. And by their second year, they were doing clinical placements, just like I was. But it was like they do a year of clinical placements, and then they're being thrust into the job world, needing to take the national counselor's examination and, you know, just jumping out there. I've known several very, very successful master's level clinicians who have their own practice, who are out there doing big things. So I don't want people to feel like a master's is limiting and that you won't be able to do a lot that you do. So you could do the PhD or the PsyD in psychology. And the PsyD, so the doctorate of psychology, is more so focused on the clinical practice, whereas the PhD route is focused on the research, clinical, and all those other facets as well. So it's a little bit, I think, more broad in terms of what we focus on and learn in the PhD programs. So if you are thinking about a psychology grad program, you also need to understand that our field is huge. There's so many different ways you can practice and do this work. Anything from neuropsych to clinical to counseling to doing assessments full time. What we can do is pretty limitless. So, you know, think about what you're wanting to do and really think about, would your goals be better served going the master's route or the PhD PsyD route? In terms of my own personal journey or my own personal pieces, I think, you know, it was really tough. I'm a parent, so balancing parenting and taking classes, and not only taking classes, but many of us need to fund our education. So I was working 20 hours a week for the first couple years of my grad program until I switched into teaching, which was a little bit more flexible because as I started to see more clients and still take classes and teaching, I needed an assistantship that wouldn't take up so much time because I was running out of time to have. I want people to also think about the things that, you know, that I didn't really think about and didn't hit me till later, the things that you miss when you're pursuing any degree. You know, you're broke. Grad students were broke, and I could talk about that in more depth in the grad school videos that I'm going to drop. But we're broke. You have to be, you know, in school. Some programs have classes that you even have to take in the summer. So you might miss weddings. I've missed weddings. I have missed baby showers. I've missed birthdays just because I've either been really far or just not had enough money to get back to where I need to go. It's going to be challenging. You know, I call grad school academic hazing. It's really just like wanting to weed people out. You do have to do a lot of things at times that feel just extra and blah. So be prepared for that. And, you know, I think a word of advice is don't lose yourself though in the process. It's tough, and the same stuff many of us face in society, you will face it in higher ed. I think oftentimes people think that like, oh, we're in college, we're in a college setting, people are more open and da-da-da-da-da. Yes and no. You know, sexism, racism, ableism, all the isms still play out. Grad school is just a microcosm of the macrocosm. So I want people to be aware of that, whether you go master's route, PhD, PsyD route, these are still things you're going to have to, you know, interface with. And, but in terms of my journey and what kept me going is really for me, was it connecting still to those values. I can't stress this enough. Your values are what gonna pull you through the program or show you that the program isn't right for you. I knew what I wanted to do, and you know, I was right. I'm getting to do the things I want to do. I feel confident enough to create and to share this knowledge with you all. I have now been getting hired to do outside consultation work that I've been loving, creating presentations, helping heal people. I can teach if I want to. So there are opportunities for me to guest lecture or adjunct if I want to. So, you know, because of those were the things I really wanted, really valued. That's what kept me going in this program. I wanted to quit so many times. So if you are in a program or thinking about getting in a program, wanting to quit is not anything abnormal. It's very normal. We want to give up because there's a lot that is asked of us. So the values and support, having a support system for me personally was just everything. I'm so grateful and thankful for all the people who just helped me, whether it was with babysitting, who said kind words to me, who just uplifted me. Having a community, and it doesn't need to be a huge community, just a few people even that support you within your program and outside of your program is great if you can get it. I think these are kind of the things that come to mind when I think about my journey, and also talking about myself is really weird. If you guys haven't picked up on it, I'm really nervous about it. So fun fact, don't like talking about myself. But yeah, I think those are like the main things I can think of when I think about my journey. But I will be dropping the grad school videos so that we can talk more about the nuts and bolts of thinking about grad school, applying to grad school, and what to expect when you're in grad school, because I think that'll be super helpful. And that it goes trans, program. This isn't about like just for counseling, psych, it's for everybody. But yeah, so those are my gems that I've dropped today for y'all. I hope this was helpful, validating, inspiring, I don't know, something good. But yeah. And on a side note, keep y'all's eyes open. So remember, if you aren't following me on Instagram at Dr. Jenny from the Block, please do. Because in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be launching a self-care basket giveaway. And this is just my way to say thank you for you all who support me on YouTube, for those who support me on Instagram. And I want to be able to give something nice. So right now I'm in the process of collecting great products and items to stuff in the basket. And there'll be details on how to win the basket. I think I'm going to create one or two, and we'll see how the spirit moves me. But this is just my way to say thank you all for your continued support and just, continuing to uplift me and listening to what I got to say. But yeah, thank you all. Have a great day. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at Dr. Jenny from the Block. All right, now y'all have a good day. Bye.